The colony planet of Zerathia was a place of constant movement and strange sights. Ships of many shapes glided through the pale green sky, and creatures of all sizes walked the crowded streets. Humans had only recently begun settling on Zerathia, drawn by its rich resources and the promise of new beginnings. Among them was Captain Alex Mercer, a skilled explorer and kind-hearted man who had earned the respect of his fellow colonists. Alex was not the tallest or strongest, but he had sharp instincts and a natural sense of right and wrong. He preferred helping others rather than seeking personal glory, a trait that had made him well liked by the settlers. On this particular day, he wandered the busy market district, inspecting new supplies and taking note of potential dangers. The air smelled of exotic spices and machines, mixed with the faint scent of Zerathia's native flora. As he walked past a narrow alley, he noticed a small figure struggling to carry a crate. The girl appeared to be very young, though her species made it hard to judge her age. Her skin had a soft lavender hue and her large dark eyes were wide with worry. Her clothes were worn and dusty, clearly indicating that she had little to her name. She struggled under the weight, her small frame shaking with every step. Alex hesitated. Many in the colony would have ignored her, considering her just another poor alien, but something in her eyes stopped him. Without a second thought, he stepped forward. "Here, let me help you with that," he said in his calm, steady voice. The girl froze for a moment, clearly unsure whether she could trust him. Then, after a brief pause, she nodded and allowed him to lift the crate. Together, they carried it to the side of the market where she planned to deliver it. "Thank you," she said softly. Her voice was quiet, almost like a whisper, yet it carried a certain weight that surprised Alex. "You're welcome," he replied with a smile. "It's no trouble at all." "Why are you carrying such a heavy load by yourself?" She hesitated, looking around nervously. I have no one to help me. People think I am nothing, poor, unimportant," she admitted. Alex frowned. He had seen this attitude before, even among humans, and he disliked it. "That's not true," he said firmly. "You are important. You have value. And it's okay to accept help when you need it." The girl looked at him, her eyes searching his face. For the first time that day, she smiled faintly, a small expression of relief and trust. Alex offered her a small container of food and a bottle of water he had carried from his ship. She accepted silently, taking a careful bite and drinking slowly. Watching her eat, Alex realized how many creatures on Zerathia must struggle daily just to survive. He felt a surge of determination to help her, and perhaps others like her however he could. As they finished and began to walk through the crowded streets together, a sudden commotion broke out nearby. A group of scavenger aliens, rough, aggressive creatures known for taking anything that didn't belong to them, had spotted the girl. They approached, snarling and waving crude weapons. Alex's heart raced. He quickly grabbed a nearby metal rod, standing protectively in front of the girl. "Stay behind me," he commanded. The girl hesitated but obeyed. Alex moved with practiced precision, shouting and swinging the rod to create space between them and the scavengers. His human instincts kicked in, and he used the environment to his advantage. He knocked over crates, creating obstacles and buying them precious seconds. "Run," he shouted to the girl, guiding her through a side alley while he continued to hold off the attackers. They darted between buildings, Alex leading the way with swift, calculated steps. He could hear the scavengers shouting behind them, their footsteps heavy on the metal and stone pathways. Finally, they reached a small, abandoned storage area at the edge of the market district. Alex pushed the girl inside and barred the door with a fallen beam. Both of them were breathing heavily. The girl's eyes were wide with fear, but there was also a spark of admiration as she looked at Alex. You saved me," she said softly, almost in disbelief. Alex shook his head. "No, you helped yourself by trusting me. That's what matters." She remained quiet for a moment, studying him. Then she asked, Why do you help me? I am nothing. No one cares about me." Alex smiled gently. "Everyone deserves kindness, and sometimes the smallest act of help can change everything. I don't care if you're rich, poor, human, or alien. You deserve respect." The girl seemed to consider this. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small pendant. It glowed faintly, casting soft light on her lavender skin. Alex noticed it immediately. It was unusual, unlike anything he had seen before. "What is that?" he asked, curious. She hesitated, then shook her head. "Nothing. Just something I keep with me." It helps me feel safe, Alex nodded. He didn't push further, sensing that the pendant was personal and perhaps secret. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this girl than met the eye. Something about her felt different. As the sun began to set over Zarathia, casting long shadows across the city, Alex realized that his day had changed completely. A simple act of kindness, helping a struggling girl, had brought him into an unexpected adventure. He didn't know her story yet, nor did he understand the significance of the pendant, but he knew one thing: helping her was the right choice, and he was ready to face whatever challenges came next. For the first time that day, the girl smiled fully, a mixture of relief and curiosity in her eyes. She didn't yet know how much her presence would change Alex's life, but she would. And so, in a busy, unfamiliar world filled with strange creatures and hidden dangers, a human and an alien girl began a journey together, their fates intertwined by kindness, courage, and a spark of something extraordinary. The night on Zarathia was quiet, except for the faint hum of distant ships and the soft wind rustling through the alien market streets. Captain Alex Mercer led the girl Lyra to a small abandoned outpost on the edge of the settlement. The building had once stored supplies for traders, but now it offered a safe place to rest. Inside, Lyra settled in a corner, hugging herself as if she could make the room smaller with her presence. Alex placed some blankets near her and set down a small supply of food and water. She accepted silently, her large eyes watching every movement. There was a calm tension between them, an unspoken understanding that tonight was only temporary safety. "Do you want to talk?" Alex asked gently. "I mean, about yourself. Who you are. Why you were carrying that crate alone." Lyra hesitated. Her small hands clutched the glowing pendant around her neck. I cannot tell everything," she said softly. "Not yet. People are looking for me. They are dangerous," Alex nodded. He didn't press her further. He had learned that trust could not be forced, it had to grow. Instead, he offered, "Then we wait safe here. For now, nothing will harm you." She gave a faint nod, and they both fell into quiet observation. But the calm didn't last long. As the hours passed, strange occurrences began. Objects in the outpost subtly shifted when Lyra walked past them, sometimes moving without anyone touching them. A small crate slid across the floor, coming to rest neatly near the wall. Alex blinked, unsure if he had imagined it. "Did you just move that?" he asked carefully, pointing to the crate. Lyra's eyes widened. She shook her head. I didn't mean to." Alex watched her closely. His human instincts told him that something extraordinary was happening. "It's okay," he said gently. "It's nothing to be afraid of." Then, without warning, the air in the room seemed to shimmer. A soft glow surrounded Lyra, coming from the pendant she wore. The light brightened, then dimmed, pulsing like a heartbeat. Alex took a cautious step closer, curiosity mixing with awe. "What is that?" he whispered. Lyra's small hands gripped the pendant. It helps me control things," she admitted. "I have abilities, but I was told to hide them. If anyone discovers what I can do, I could be taken away." Alex's eyes widened. "Abilities? Like powers?" She nodded, her expression serious. "Yes, but I do not use them to harm, only to protect myself." Alex smiled faintly, impressed. Humans had faced many dangers across galaxies, but he had never met anyone like her. "Then we protect each other," he said. "You keep your secret. I will help keep you safe." Lyra looked at him, a mixture of relief and wonder in her eyes. No one had ever said that to her before. Most saw only a poor girl, weak and unimportant. But Alex, he treated her as someone who mattered. The next day, Alex and Lyra tested her abilities in small ways. With a simple gesture, Lyra moved small objects across the room. She could sense danger before it arrived, detecting subtle shifts in sound and air. Alex taught her simple strategies like using her perception to anticipate threats and using her powers for defensive purposes. Together, they created a system. Alex provided tactical thinking and Lyra added her unique abilities. However, the quiet outpost could not last forever. Scouts from Lyra's homeworld, alien ships searching for the hidden princess, were already combing nearby sectors. Their sensors were sophisticated, capable of detecting the faintest energy signature. Lyra's glowing pendant, while protective, was also a beacon to those who sought her. One afternoon, as Alex and Lyra studied a map of the surrounding area, A faint alarm from the outpost's perimeter sensors sounded. Alex immediately stood, moving to a viewing window. He could see a small fleet approaching in the distance, sleek silver ships with sharp edges, unmistakably alien. "They found you," Alex said quietly. He looked at Lyra. "We need to prepare." Lyra's eyes narrowed, determination replacing fear. "I will not go back to them," she said firmly. "I trusted you. You protected me. I will not be taken away." Alex felt a surge of respect. This small, fragile-looking girl held a courage that few humans or aliens could match. "Then we fight smart," he said. Not with anger, but with strategy. Over the next hours, they reinforced the outpost. Alex used his knowledge of human engineering to set clever traps and decoys, hiding their position and confusing incoming scanners. Lyra's powers allowed them to subtly manipulate their environment, small shifts in gravity, moving objects, and even creating faint energy barriers that would slow down intruders. When the fleet drew closer, Alex and Lyra watched from their hidden vantage point. The ships scanned the area, sending small search drones down to the planet's surface. The drones hovered, scanning with precise sensors. Lyra's abilities allowed them to evade detection. She focused her energy, creating a subtle interference that misdirected the drones away from their location. Alex could not help but marvel at her skill. "You're incredible," he said softly. "I have never seen anyone move objects, sense things like you do." Lyra blushed slightly, unused to praise. "I only do what I must to survive," she said quietly. But Alex shook his head. "No, you're more than survival. You're extraordinary, and together we can face anything." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the fleet finally retreated, unable to locate them. Alex and Lyra allowed themselves a moment of relief. They had survived the day, but both knew this was only the beginning. Lyra's past was not easily escaped, and the galaxy itself seemed to hold secrets and dangers beyond imagination. That evening, as they shared a simple meal, Lyra opened up a little more. "I was hidden here for my safety," she said softly. "The rulers of my homeworld wanted me out of sight. If I am found, it could start a war. People would try to use me. Or hurt me." Alex listened carefully. "Then we make a promise," he said firmly. "I will not let anyone hurt you, and you will help me understand who you are and what you can do. Together we protect each other, agreed?" Lyra nodded, her eyes shining with trust. "Agreed," she whispered. As night fell on Zarethia, the outpost glowed softly with the light of the pendant. Alex watched Lyra, realizing how much his life had changed in such a short time. A simple act of kindness had led him to someone remarkable, someone whose fate, and his own, was now tied to the stars and the endless possibilities of the galaxy. For the first time, Alex understood that human compassion could spark extraordinary events. And in Lyra, he saw not just an alien girl, but a partner, a friend, and perhaps a key to the future he had never imagined. The stars above shone brightly, hinting at the adventures, dangers, and discoveries yet to come, and together, a human and a hidden alien princess prepared to face whatever the universe would send their way. The next morning, Zarathia's pale sun rose slowly over the horizon, casting soft light on the outpost. Captain Alex Mercer and Lyra were already awake, preparing for the inevitable. The distant fleet from her homeworld had not given up. Alex had spent the night checking traps and reviewing strategies. Lyra had practiced controlling her powers, focusing on energy manipulation and enhancing her senses. Alex looked at her and smiled faintly. "Ready?" he asked. Lyra nodded, her eyes serious but calm. "I am ready. We cannot let them take me." They moved silently to a concealed vantage point near the edge of the outpost. From there, they could see the fleet approaching again. This time, the ships were larger, and several small fighter drones had descended to scan the terrain. Their goal was clear: find Lyra and bring her back by force. Alex took a deep breath. "We fight smart, not just with strength," he reminded himself and Lyra. "Use what we have, strategy and your abilities." Lyra nodded. Her pendant glowed faintly, responding to her focus. She could feel the presence of the ships and their sensors, detecting movements Alex could not see. "I can slow them," she said softly. "Distract their scanners." Together they executed a plan. Alex used his knowledge of human technology and the terrain to set decoys and traps. Crates, mirrors, and reflective panels were arranged to confuse scanners, while Lyra used her energy manipulation to create subtle interference. The combination worked perfectly. One by one, the drones veered off course, unable to pinpoint their location. Alex watched in awe. Humans can fight in many ways, he said quietly. But you make it extraordinary. Lyra smiled faintly but focused on the task. She was not just protecting herself. She was fighting alongside someone who had shown her true kindness, someone who had risked his life for her. That trust gave her strength. Suddenly, one of the larger ships descended closer to the surface. Its scanners were more advanced, capable of penetrating normal interference. Alex signaled to Lyra. Now! Lyra concentrated, her small hands glowing with soft energy. The ship's sensors flickered, detecting phantom signals and shadows where none existed. The vessel wavered, unsure of what it was seeing, and finally ascended again, confused and unable to locate them. Alex exhaled in relief. That was close. Lyra looked at him, admiration in her eyes. You are very brave, she said softly. I never imagined someone like you would help me, without expecting anything in return. Alex smiled, shrugging modestly. It is not bravery. It is what humans do best. We care, even when it is difficult. They spent the day hidden, observing the fleet retreating in the distance. Alex realized that Lyra's life was more complicated than any human adventure he had faced. She was a princess, hidden away for protection, and her abilities were far beyond anything he had ever encountered. Yet, in this moment, the universe seemed to pause. Two beings from different worlds, united by trust and kindness, had faced overwhelming odds and survived. As night fell, Lyra finally opened up more. Alex, she said quietly, I'm not just any alien girl. My family and they rule a distant galaxy. I was hidden here because there are people who want to harm me or use me to gain power. My pendant, it helps me control my abilities. But it also draws attention if I am careless. Alex listened intently. I understand, he said softly. And I will help you. Whatever it takes. She looked at him, surprised by the sincerity in his eyes. Why, she asked. Why would a human risk so much for me? I am not from your world, I am different, Alex smiled gently. Because kindness matters. Because courage matters. Because even in a galaxy full of strangers, some choices define who we are. You are not just different, you are important. And I do not abandon those who need help. Lyra's eyes shone with gratitude. For the first time in her life, she felt truly safe, truly understood. And in that moment, she realized that Alex's fate was now connected to hers, just as hers was to his. The following day brought a new challenge. Scouts from her homeworld returned with more ships, larger and more menacing. Alex and Lyra knew that a confrontation was inevitable. They had prepared traps, energy fields, and escape routes, but the fleet's numbers were overwhelming. When the ships landed, Alex stayed close to Lyra. Stay focused, he whispered. We can do this together, Lyra nodded. She focused her energy, creating shields and controlling small objects to block the scouts' paths. Alex used his tactical skills to lead the enemy into traps. Crates fell, energy barriers blocked passageways, and illusions of movement confused the scouts. Together, human strategy and alien power proved a perfect combination. Finally, when the leader of the fleet appeared, expecting to take her by force, Lyra stepped forward. Her pendant glowed brilliantly and her energy flared. The scouts froze, sensing power far beyond what they had expected. Alex stood behind her, steady and calm, ready to act if needed. Lyra's voice rang out clearly. I will not return with you, she said firmly. I choose my own path. The leader hesitated, realizing that this small girl with Alex beside her had abilities that could not be underestimated. With a signal, the fleet retreated, unwilling to risk confrontation further. Alex exhaled, feeling the tension leave his body. We did it, he said softly. We survived. Lyra looked at him, her eyes filled with admiration and trust. I am grateful, she said. Not just for protecting me, but for seeing me. Truly seeing me. Alex smiled. It is not about seeing or not seeing. It is about choosing to care. You have changed my fate as much as I have changed yours. The next morning, the outpost was quiet, the fleet gone. Lyra revealed more of her story, explaining her royal lineage and the political dangers she faced. Alex listened, understanding that her life was now intertwined with his in ways neither of them could have imagined. You could return to your life, Lyra said, but you chose to stay. That makes you Extraordinary. Alex looked at her, thinking of the kindness that had started this journey. And you are extraordinary too, he said. Not because of powers or lineage, but because you survived, you trusted, and you fought. Together we can face whatever comes next. Lyra smiled, a real, full smile this time, free of fear. Then let us go forward, she said. Not as a poor alien girl and a human, but as partners. Together. And so Alex and Lyra stepped into the wider galaxy, their fates intertwined. A simple act of kindness had led to extraordinary consequences. The poor alien girl was a princess with incredible power, and the human who had helped her had become a key ally. Together they would explore new worlds, face unimaginable challenges, and prove that courage, trust, and kindness could shape the future of the universe itself. The stars above shone brighter than ever, signaling adventures yet to come, as a human and an alien princess forged a bond that no force in the galaxy could break.